This first season has already flown by. This is one of 3 days they're going to completely set up the land. EU already settled. Now people are just playing for points for the year and playing for some cash as well. I want it to be over, though. I'm excited for land, but this season has just been so much fun. My name is Rich. I'm going to be your host. I'm joined by Zico, Supertees, and Van Ruki. And let's talk about this final elimination match of the day. Change My Mind going up against Surprise Effect.
I think we're going to see Rogue Mage Druid versus Rogue Mage Druid, or, I don't know, maybe Rogue Mage Priest. It's hard to say if Radopi is going to leave his soul in the forest or if he's going to go back to his Disc Priest. Okay, that was the last one, I promise.
All right, Radopi going to be on the Druid. We have a mirror matchup on our hands, and a lot of people putting some stock in Surprise Effect after they make some waves. Let's see, can they do it again?
Change my mind in the lower bracket off the back of Rogue Mage Mirrors against ABC, going even with them in terms of mirror, but now Surprise Effect. Radopi, known for his Disciplined Priest, breaks out the Druid, knocks Plot Twist out of contention for claiming a 4th place spot, and is looking solid overall. And now I'm curious to see how they fare head-to-head against Change My Mind, because Change My Mind have put all of their focus into this composition, the Rogue Mage Druid. Let's see if that time invested is worth it.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely see what Radopi can get done against Minpoike. On paper, you'd have to give this advantage to Change My Mind. They've been so consistent with this Rogue Mage Druid setup, a lot of synergy, but we know for Surprise Effect, this is the only composition that they run, so there's not another option for them. They have to go head-to-head here. We'll have to see. Fried Kitty taking a little bit of pressure early on. There's a nice Cyclone coming in from Minpoike on the Trinket of Soqueen. Bashed onto Radopi. The crowd control is continuing. Interrupts flying in, blind onto Radopi, he trinkets out, Minpoike interrupted. Fried Kitty could be in a little bit of trouble as burst damage comes in, flying in onto Fried Kitty. That gets denied by the Iron Bark of Minpoike. In the meantime, Ratcher seems to be the target of choice for Change My Mind. Yep,
target decision is different once again between these two teams. Ratcher, the main focus for Change My Mind. Fried Kitty, the main focus for Surprise Effect. Currently falling behind, could be an Ice Block forced. Huge damage, tons of pressure. First Ice Block in favor of Surprise Effect. Suddenly he comes out of it early. Fried Kitty gets bursted. Barely stays alive. Close call. In the meantime, Change My Mind, change targets. They're gunning down Radopi, looking for an early kill onto him. Player's Maledict gets shadow melded by Radopi. Nice play, avoiding that healing absorption effect and allowing himself to stay alive. Clutch moves there. Stay in it.
Yeah, Radopi charges forward, looking for crowd control on him and Minpoike. Bash potentially into a Cyclone, manages to find it. Now Fried Kitty could be in some trouble. Still on hypothermia. Ratcher in the meantime into a kidney shot. Cheap shot now into Radopi, Growth Silence. Acro basically getting crowd control on all 3 members of Surprise Effect off the back of that re-stealth. Very nicely done. Now Ratcher Cyclone at half HP. Radopi should be able to keep him alive unless Minpoike can move in and get some crowd control onto Radopi. Doesn't look like he's able to just yet. Everyone is healthy right now except for Ratcher. Still has to be caught up by Radopi, but the crowd control chain is not over. Radopi into a full Ring of Frost with no trinket available. What is Ratcher going to do? Preemptively pops the evasion, but if he gets caught into a stun, he's not going to be able to use the Cloak of Shadows. In the meantime, Fried Kitty under fire.
Under fire, Minpoike locked out of the fight for an extended period of time. Evan Bolt connects with the Flurry combo together to try and force the second Ice Block. They net it. Surprise Effect have a huge lead. There's one opening to kill Ratchet, but this crowd control is still not ending. Minpoike locked into 3 Cyclones. Potentially a Polymorph TR here shortly if SoQueen can sneak it in. Surprise Effect looks solid. Radopi predicts the attack on himself, realizing that his team is so far ahead, they have to kill him, so he pre-bears. Fried Kitty gets locked in the bomb, and tons of pressure follows suit, and Surprise Effect looking to take game 1. Fried Kitty blinks to safety, barely getting that Iron Bark in time to start to stabilize. He's not even going up in health with the Iron Bark activated. Acro has to kill Radopi. It's do or die. Race against the clock. Surprise Effect have a massive lead.
They definitely do, and leaving SoQueen alone is not what you want to do. Radopi into a kidney shot. Fried Kitty now into a kidney shot as well. Ratcher gets onto the blind. SoQueen closes out the game. Surprise Effect, pure domination over Change My Mind in game number 1.
Surprise Effect's gonna win this tournament, Zico.
No, I don't know about that.
Calm down here for a second. They might win this series here, but let's not forget there's Wildcard Gaming and the Method Black still in the wings waiting. But they looked really, really good here. They forced out Minpoike's Trinket, and then they get the blind sap, follow that up with a nice Ring of Frost, a bash that really long extended CC chain. They're gonna net them the block, the second block of Fried Kitty, and then here they're gonna get the kidney shot with the smoke bomb as well, and that's almost gonna take Fried Kitty down. And again, a nice vortex there from Rattapie is gonna suck Fried Kitty right back into the open. And Acro, he's been doing a good job at the majority of this game, but not gonna be there when Fried Kitty needs him towards the end here. He's trying to set up a win condition for his own team because you can't always play to survive only. So he's gonna go for that kidney shot onto Rattapie. He's gonna blind up Ratcher. No trinket available there, but it's not gonna be enough. So Queen gonna be channeling out that Ebon Bolt to really close out the match. And this is most of this is at the back of forcing Minpoike's Trinket earlier on and getting that long CC chain with the blind. So surprise effect, I mean, they looked really good in this game.
Yeah, is this going to be a mirror all the way through then?
I think it most likely will be. I don't really see what else Changed My Mind could be running in this matchup. I think for Surprise Effect, like we kind of said, they only really have one composition that they can run besides Rattapie going on the Discipline Priest. But I have to say, Rattapie, he is owning on this Restoration Druid. Normally, we're very critical of him when he plays his alts, but this is looking like he's been maining Druid for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little off-brand for him. We think of him as this very aggressive Disc Priest, and now he's showing up, and he's just bodying people on his Resto Druid. I also think it's interesting as well when you do talk about just the fact that he is going to be going into somebody that he used to play with. When Valet was on Rattapie's squad, Valet couldn't get enough time in the arena. They didn't really have the compositions. A lot of that kind of does sit on Rattapie's shoulders, and Acrolaw's as well. A lot of that sit on Acrolaw's shoulders, but it is on Rattapie that he wasn't able to play any other healers besides that Disc Priest. They break off, they find a new team. Valet has a great season thus far. He's going to be going to LAN, and now they're going against Rattapie when he finally has another spec to play. He's playing on the Druid, and he's beating them. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting how some of these things can turn out, you know? There's a lot of teams as well who, for sure, they look back and they might regret some of the decisions. Probably not Change My Minds, though. In their defense, they've had a really good season. But Rattapie definitely starting to look very, very good on this Resto Druid, coming in here and so far doing a great job. He really got the short end of the stick at the... That wasn't an intentional one, okay?
I was just waiting in anticipation for you to make another Resto.
I was literally avoiding every word to not make a pun there. I don't know. They've been coming to me naturally, much like Rattapie's Resto Druid.
Yeah, it only took 6 weeks to come to him naturally. Oh, I get it because of... Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Let's just get into the game. Let's stop this nonsense.
I kind of like it.
I kind of like it, too. I just have to pretend like I don't. But you can see Surprise Effect is going to be able to take a hot 3-0. Now they enter into Grand Arena against Change My Mind. They take the first one. It's going to be another 3-0. Looking to get on match point here is Rattapie, Ratcher, and So Queen.
This is an exciting way to wrap up the European Cup number 6, day 1 between Surprise Effect and Change My Mind. Rattapie's skills on Restoration Druid have definitely leveled up as they look to claim victory against Change My Mind. Unfortunately for them, unlikely that they will be able to establish a qualification on points, but they at least set themselves up with morale boost moving into the summer season if they can take out some of the top dogs in the tournament today. So Queen trying to shadow melt some incoming Gladiators, Maledicts. Fried Kitty also the target. We do see some target adaptations between both teams now racing each other's mages.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the mistakes we saw from Change My Mind in the game number 1, allowing So Queen way too much freedom to build up damage with the Frostbolt. We saw him single-handedly close out the game with a huge Ebon Bolt on the Fried Kitty, and if he had been caught into a kidney shot, that may have been avoided completely. Right now, Minpoike triggeting out of the blind, Rattapie as well, so both Restoration Druids are very vulnerable. Rattapie caught into a full kidney shot. They're going all in. They might be able to take him down. What is Rattapie going to do? Safeguard procs, Barskin's used, but the Growth Silence still looking to close out the game. Change My Mind with a beautiful all-in ties up this series.
Timber.
Change My Mind. You can tell that they're definitely angry in this one. They're going to make that second game even quicker than the series that we saw Surprise Effect manage to pull down quickly. Is this Change My Mind saying, hey, that first game was a fluke. We just weren't expecting you guys to be able to come out and play that strong?
Well, I think so, but the hardest part about playing a new class is when you're playing it under fire, and you know, when you play that Resto Druid and you're not targeted, you might have. That wasn't the joke about Teldrassil. when you play Resto Druid or any new class, or that you're not any spec that you're not really used to, when you're not targeted, you can kind of stay back. You can throw out the heals. You can go for cyclones. It's going to be very similar to when you're just a high-level player and you're playing your main. You're going to be able to identify those situations. But when you're playing an alt and you've trinketed the blind and you're going in for aggressive plays like this, and all of a sudden a team is just ice blocking offensively and trying to punish you, that's when you really do get tested. So that's really when we see a lot of these alt healers kind of fall, and here they do a good job of just punishing that. Change my mind. They're going to force out Ratapai's Trinket with the blind. Ratapai going offensively in a situation where he wasn't able to, and immediately Acro and Fred Kitty, they dump all of their offense. Nice ice block offensively there as well, and they just take him out immediately.
Sid, is this the first time that we've seen Ratapai's Druid get fully tested?
I mean, Poike just caught him off guard. I think Ratapai was trying to crowd control Poike, but then got Ursul's Vortex on his jump, and then was just stuck in midfield with 3 members gunning him down and killing him. So he definitely got clotheslined a bit. Obviously, you can chalk that up to the experience that Changed My Mind have on this composition and these classes in particular, but this is just a matchup that you can't count anyone out. I mean, even though Ratapai is playing on an alternate healing specialization, he's played the same style, going for crowd control, going for setups. So while, yeah, sure, he's inexperienced on the Druid, you still can't count him out, and he might be able to pull it off.
Do you think then, on the other hand, Venruki, that maybe that's just Poike playing out of his mind? He sees an opening, he's able to set that up, and that's why Ratapai's put on the chopping block?
Well, I mean, to Ratapai's credit, we did see Asgarath go down to an all-in attempt like that as well. So it's sometimes it can just happen. If unexpected burst damage comes in, you bar skin a little bit too late, and then you get kidney shot. That's when things really start getting dangerous for you on that Restoration Druid. I think Ratapai, he'll know that's what they want to do now. And I think, honestly, Surprise Effect is going to be looking for a Druid all-in as well on Poike. Trading out those trinkets on the early blinds sets you up as a great opportunity for the enemy team to take you down as a Restoration Druid. So definitely have to be careful, and I think Ratapai is going to be reluctant to push in for crowd control, although we don't want to see him play too reluctant, because then all of a sudden Surprise Effect is going to lose that crowd control that ultimately won them game number 1.
I think it's pretty clear that this is a volatile matchup, right? When we look at both of these teams, they've both proven not only throughout the day, I mean, Surprise Effect, it really is going to be one of those situations where they have proven on the day, which is important. However, a team does show up into a tournament, that is one of the biggest factors as to how they are going to perform. But Change My Mind has just shown us time and time again that this is their composition throughout the entirety of the year. Today, they haven't looked shabby either. They make opportunities even against compositions where they have no business creating opportunities. And in a mirror matchup, we know that they can do some damage. Volatile, either team can win. This is one of them where you just kind of kick your feet up on the table and just see how it all plays out, Zico.
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing that Surprise Effects has been able to do is they've kind of been able to set the pace here by going on the mage. In the previous matchup that we saw with Change My Mind and ABC, we really didn't see, we saw ABC go after the mage, but it didn't really work out for them. But for Surprise Effect, it actually has worked out. They've been able to set up nice kills, but I really think that the Druid is the kind of the reason why that is able to happen. Once you get that Druid's trinket out with a big swap, or if you get his trinket out with the blind, you're able to swap to him, and that's really what kind of creates all of the momentum in this matchup.
All right, well, Ratapai already gave the folks over on ABC some peace of mind, some tranquility. They know that they're going to make it to land, but will he be able to make another upset here against Change My Mind? Or are we starting to see this squad fire on all cylinders?
Ratapai into a blind. What is he going to do? Opting to sit through it just now. Will he get punished? You can see Acro committing his vanish, looking for a sap. What is Ratapai going to do? He trinkets out of the sap, so ultimately, no, that's a disaster. So Ratapai holds on to his trinket for the sap, but Soqueen had to trade out his ice block as well. This has put Surprise Effect way behind. It's Ratapai had to trinket out anyways.
I think Ratapai is going to die within the next minute or so after that choke. He's got no defense. Soqueen's a vulnerability. When there's 2 targets in trouble, you have such a a tough decision to make. If they go all in on Ratify here, it could just close the match. Ratcher able to stall the damage out for a couple of extra seconds, buying Ratify some time to breathe. Those Gladiators Maledicts are incoming. Managed to removing them, and now getting out of line of sight. Good defense by Ratcher, but then Ratify gets caught in a polymorph. Now an opening to kill SoQueen, and Change My Mind have complete control of game number 3.
Yeah, Ratify in a polymorph gets out of it. He needs to keep SoQueen alive, but a beautiful Cyclone coming in from Minpoike denies that incoming healing. Ratify luckily didn't use his Iron Bark, so there's still an opportunity to use that defensive if he really needs to. Minpoike in a position to look for more crowd control, unable to find it. Potentially surprised the fact they could go for an all-in attempt on him in Minpoike as well. He doesn't have his trinket, SoQueen still has his Icy Veins, Ratcher still has Vendetta, so they can get one clean setup on him in Minpoike. Could easily see Surprise Effect blowing him out of the water.
Yeah, both teams' Restoration Druids in trouble, but likely Minpoike to be the target over Fried Kitty as they're already behind on ice blocks. Instead, they swap to Acro, trying to catch him off guard with a smoke bomb play, but Ratcher gets polyed away, not able to connect on target, but that Gladiators Maledict is absorbing all the heal over time effects. Acro Shadow steps out desperately to try and reconnect with Minpoike, break up the chain, and now Change My Mind take control of the game. Polymorph locking Ratify down, SoQueen gets bursted, the Polymorph chain gets broken up, Ratify able to now connect some heals, but now into a bash. Minpoike in position potentially for a Cyclone. Acro though in trouble, he's trying to crowd control and keep the team up at the same time, not able to find the Cyclone, instead now Cycloning Ratcher to stall out this for Acro to find time to breathe. Mana is even at this point, still a slight lead, having that one ice block force. Ratify blinded up, they swap to Ratcher. Maybe it would have been better to go after SoQueen. Regardless, they get the Gladiators Medallion from Ratify. They can now switch to him with Vendetta moving forward.
Yeah, they need to be waiting for the triple Gladiator Maledict all in onto Ratify in order to take him down. So, Change My Mind. They just need one clean setup. Minpoike is still a vulnerability. He's caught into a bash. Ratify looking for crowd control. SoQueen manages to find the full Ring of Frost. Now what are they going to do? Minpoike, that crowd control breaks. Acro should be fine off the back of that evasion and Vendetta. Kidney shot on Ratify. They're looking for an all-in once again. Do they have the damage? SoQueen caught into a Cyclone. Acro, unfortunately, doesn't have the damage. Oh, lands. Ratify very vulnerable. Uses the Iron Bark, but I think Change My Mind, they have enough damage to take him down. Going up in the series 2-1.
Change My Mind's cracked the code. They know how to take down Surprise Effect. We didn't see that in the last series. Change My Mind showing that they may be the more experienced rogue mage in this matchup. You got Minpoike, who's going on all cylinders as well. He can find these openings. How do we see Ratify and his squad of Surprise Effect that's already impressed us today try to jumble it up a little bit and make it so Ratify isn't an exposed target?
Well, the swap actually wasn't that threatening when Ratify used his trinket. They were going onto Ratcher, and Ratcher had his trinket. He had his defensives. Ratify potentially could have just sat that blind, and then Ratcher could have traded out his defensive cooldowns and then held on to Ratify's CDs for a rainy day. Because at that point, at least if they want to take down Ratcher, they need to land the Ring of Frost like this. And at this point as well, there's nice cross CC onto Ratcher. Honestly, he could have maybe looked to trinket and try to stop some of the incoming damage, potentially give a kidney shot onto Fried Kitty or someone and slow some of that damage down, but it also comes down to Maledict usage. Ratify goes out for the Dispel. Nice preemptive Maledict is going to be comboed there as well. Fried Kitty gets the Kleptomania off as well, getting that Safeguard Shield Absorption effect, and that's going to be enough for them, and that's kind of what we've been noticing now, that they blind the Druid, they go on the Rogue, they force out the Druid's trinket, then they look to go back to the Druid later on with those CDs. And you can even wait with trinketing as the Druid. Yeah. You can just trinket the sap after the Maledicts have been committed to the Rogue, and then at least when you trinket, when your trinket comes back, you're gonna have, or when they swap, they're not gonna have those Maledicts.
In such a matchup that can go either way, when you just get down to brass tacks and you look at what's happening in this mirror, being on match point is going to be crucial, but you also have to account all the momentum now is on the side of Change My Mind. You don't really have to worry about the back and forth quite as much because it's a mirror. They're going to fare on both maps somewhat equally. We have a nice small map, which is actually going to play a little bit in the favor of Change My Mind in some ways with what we've seen recently. I think momentum's just going to win the day here. Change My Mind, they're not going to go down to Surprise Effect.
I mean, anything could really happen in these mirrors, but I think the key really was Change My Mind putting a lot more pressure onto SoQueen. We saw game number 1, surprise effect, they were in the driver's seat, but I think that's mostly off the back of the fact that Soqueen was able to just free cast, get as many frost bolts out as he wanted, as many polymorphs off as he wanted, and that sort of momentum and pressure really carried them forward. Having multiple pressure points on surprise effect, I think is going to be key for Change My Mind. Make sure Rattapie is second-guessing his trinket choice. That puts him behind on Soqueen. It just creates a lot of opportunity for Change My Mind in this matchup.
This could be hook, line, and sinker for surprise effect. They could be sent home right here, right now.
All right, Change My Mind leveling up here. They've got a 3rd place finish moving forward to the spring finals. They'll have a bit of time in between now and then to either diversify their composition roster or just continue mastering the ones that they've got. Acro getting sapped early on is a bit devastating here for Change My Mind. A surprise effect initiate a great chain of crowd control into all 3 members. Acro exchanges his entire defensive lineup just to stay alive throughout that initial assault. The crowd control looks relentless. Rattapie is trying to sit through a blind sap. We saw him try and do this in the last game. He got punished on it. He's trying to do it again. Will he be punished once again is the question. Rattapie continues to get crowd controlled. Ratcher denies the kill, drops a smoke bomb, looks to reverse onto Acro. Blind on him in Poike. He decides to use the Gladiator's Medallion, realizing Acro traded so much early on, but suddenly Ratcher is behind. Due to Rattapie's reluctance to trinket out of that blind, he will now be able to survive a swap onto himself, whereas Minpoike may not. So let's see if Surprise Effect decides to make that switch. They've got pressure on 2 targets with 2 Gladiator's Medallions out of the way, and Surprise Effect should have momentum because of this.
Yeah, nice attempt on him, and Poike caught into a kidney shot. Do they have any more damage? Soqueen with the Icy Veins, looking to get really aggressive, but a beautiful Ring of Frost from Fried Kitty. Denies a lot of it, but Minpoike still not out of the woods yet.
We shot him
has
a
the
bit.
Iron Bark available, has to trade it out. Now Minpoike just so vulnerable. No Gladiator safeguard, no Bark, no Iron Bark, no Trinket. Gets interrupted. He just can't top himself off, Sid.
It's a race to the finish to gun down for Minpoike. Surprise Effect have huge momentum off the back of that perfect crowd control. Minpoike's in trouble. He's all alone in center field. Will he have the backup? He needs to stay alive. Acro peels away Ratcher. Minpoike's looking for a Cyclone at half health in front of their face. He manages to get it. He stays alive and stays in the fight. Now jumping in for crowd control onto Rattapie. Switching that Cyclone over. Polymorph instead. Who are they going to go after as the target? It looks like they want to go after Soqueen, as he's already expended 1 ice block. It could be an opportunity. Surprise Effect, we're banking on killing Minpoike during that push, and because they haven't, now they're behind.
Oh, Soqueen using his 2nd ice block. Both mages traded out one of their earlier ice blocks as basically an additional PvP trinket to get out of crowd control. And now, because of that, Soqueen, he doesn't have another ice block available for 4 minutes. Big opportunity here for Change My Mind in this matchup. Bash on Minpoike. Rattapie looking for a Hibernate, potentially looking for a Cyclone as well. Doesn't manage to find it. Beautiful backup by Fried Kitty, landing a clutch counterspell onto Rattapie, denying the crowd control, and now Soqueen in a lot of trouble.
Yep, caught into a kidney shot. Any crowd control, and Rattapie could close this out. He'll be pressured to use Gladiator's Medallion on blind now because Soqueen has no ice blocks remaining. Pressure is still building. Change My Mind on match point. There's the blind. Rattapie cannot afford to hold on to his Gladiator's Medallions, whereas Minpoike does have that opportunity to sit on it, which means that now Rattapie could be swapped to by Change My Mind. He needs to be ready for it. He's been gunned down 2 games. Fried Kitty gets bursted, potentially an ice block when Poike opted to trade that Gladiator's Medallion a little bit late. Now both teams' Druids could be vulnerable moving forward on hook point in such close quarters. It looks like Fried Kitty's going for crowd control instead, blinking back behind out of line of sight, getting a polymorph. Acro able, though, to now vanish away, try and get on target. Soqueen gets silenced. Where's the kidney shot? It looks like Soqueen likely Gladiator's Medallion out of it earlier. Cyclone at low health by Minpoike. Slight mana lead for Change My Mind, but I don't think mana is necessarily going to be the main win condition for either team at this point. Still an ice block lead. It's basically, for the Surprise Effect, they have to kill Minpoike or nothing, I think, for them at this point. And they're on match point.
He seems to be the only vulnerable target. Whereas Soqueen, he's just so vulnerable for Surprise Effect. Rattapie trades out his Iron Bark. After that, there's really nothing left. Icy Veins gets used by Fried Kitty, looking to get hyper-aggressive here in this matchup on the Soqueen. Where is the damage? Full kidney shot from Ratcher onto Fried Kitty. Drops a smoke bomb as well. Big burst damage, trading out his ice block. Now both mages are in similar situations where we don't see ice blocks for at least 3 minutes. Fried Kitty's still low. If they can continue the pressure, Surprise Effect could tie up the series.
This game is going down to the wire, completely evened out here on game number 4. They make a swap to Rattapie, trying to burst him down. Are they going to go for the Gladiator's Maledicts? Fried Kitty activates his. They need more afterwards. If Rattapie is able to dispel Minpoike's Gladiator's Maledict goes in, can they spell steal off that Gladiator's Safeguard? Rattapie holding on by a thread, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it. Iron Bargo 1%. Is he going to be able to make it out alive? He bashes up Acro at 1%. Miracle. Barely catching a couple of heals. Cyclone at low health. There's 0% chance you make it out of this Rattapie. What are you going to do? Acro gets Frost Nova, but Rattapie sneaks out of range in the kidney shot in bear form. Fried Kitty blinks in to close it out. Poike tries to get a Star Surge. Rattapie sneaks out of line of sight, holding on to whatever little bit of health that he's got left for his team on match point.
What is Rattapie gonna do? How did he manage to survive? Beautiful peels coming in from his team to keep him alive. That Frost Nova onto Acro really saved the day. Now Kitty shot onto Acro, and Surprise Effect is looking to reverse the pressure. Rattapie traded out so many of his defensives, now caught into a full blind. Ratcher, though, is able to just easily vanish off, and he should be able to survive. Acro using his vanish as well, extending the crowd-controlled chain onto Rattapie with a beautiful sap. Now Ratcher's just in so much trouble. I don't think evasion's going to be enough. Bash onto Rattapie, change my mind. Pure domination in the last 3 games. And the Surprise Effect's going to be knocked out of this tournament.
Change My Mind got such a good rhythm for this series, and this is one of the best at this composition. I think the main thing with Change My Mind when we look at them headed into LAN, it's how well they're going to be able to diversify. We've never had a single question about them on this comp. It's just it hasn't been enough to bring down some of those top teams. If they get anything that looks half as good as this composition for them, they will look fantastic at LAN. They will be an absolute wrecking ball, but I got to give it up for Surprise Effect. Rattapie has done such a fantastic job like he never has before, grabbing that alt healer. It has been his weakness for such a long time. Well done, Rattapie.
Yeah, this was a really nice matchup, and it was really close as well. You can see even Poike is completely tapped on mana here, and Rattapie, of course, had to shrink it out of that really juicy situation earlier where he was stuck in a kidney shot on like 2%, and that was at the back of Poike's beautiful Cyclone. Here as well, Fried Kitty landing that Frost Nova with his pet onto Ratcher as he vanishes off, and that's the main reason to why he goes down here. If Ratcher manages to sneak off there with that vanish, if Fried Kitty misses that Nova or does it a little bit too soon, all of a sudden that's you know, this match could go in Surprise Effect's favor and we could have a game 5. So definitely a very close series. It was a fun one to watch for sure.
All right.